Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CMAtics video session 117. So basically in today's video, we will actually learn something on the recipe side. We will actually learn what is the meaning of edit attributes. So there's a function called edit attributes under transform node. We will understand that, as well as other than that, we will also understand what are some of the extra functionalities which we have on the recipe side. Okay. So what I will do is let me go to Analytics Studio, Data Manager, manage data flow, and let me open the recipe. I think it was one of the sessions we were doing, which was session 4. Okay, or let me open session 5 maybe. Yeah, let me open session 5. We have taken that real objects, real standard objects account and opportunity. So as you have seen, like here, we have done this join, right? So for example, I have on my left account and on my right, I have the opportunity, fine. And I have written as account of left join. Now, basically what happens is when I open this particular recipe, right? So you must have seen like how the opportunity name, it was coming as op.name, right? So for example, if I just open this once again, your data hasn't been queried, so I think I have to reopen this. Okay, so I think I already taught you earlier. So for this, you have to just keep on reopening it. So we have something called as the account name, fine, and we have something called as the opportunity name. Okay. Now, basically here, if you see, it is coming as account name, and here it is just coming as name. Fine. For example, if I want to rename him, I usually rename it from here, right? That is rename column. You can always do that. But other than that, you can also take the help of edit attributes on the recipe to do that. For example, what I will do is here, after the left join, I will put a transform node. Okay. Now, for this particular name, which is there, fine, which is nothing but the opportunity name. It's coming as opportunity.name. But what I will do is I will just click on this edit attributes, which we have. So under edit attributes, this opportunity name, okay, this one, I will just write it as, so the name, let me there, and let me just write it as opportunity name. Okay. And let me click on the API name is fine. I can also change the API name by the way with edit attributes. Okay. But I think for now it is fine. I just want to change the label name maybe. Okay. And similarly for stage, I mean, if you see the stage which comes over here, right? So for example, I want to bring the stage. Okay, the stage is still fine. Okay, but if I want to bring the opportunity ID, that is also fine. The label is fine. That is opportunity ID. Yeah, a few of the names for which the label is already existing properly, that we can leave. That's completely fine. But for a few more where we need to ensure that we put a proper name, we can go by this edit attribute. Fine. So with edit attribute, you can ensure like whatever things you are pulling, like for example, mostly it's name or ID, where it might come as ID, then you can actually change the label name from here. So that's the thing about this edit attribute. Okay, so I can just write over here uh, transform, maybe something like transformation of fields. That is once again fine. Okay. Now, other than this, there are few more functionalities which we have. What I will do is very quickly, I will open this opportunity. So that's the thing about edit attributes. And let me just check if I have all the, yeah, I have date. Okay, I have the numeric, I have the date, as well as I have the dimension. Okay, so we can play around with a lot of other functionalities. For example, let's say I have this particular opportunity ID, or let's say opportunity name. Okay, so under opportunity name, if you want, you can go for this trim functionality. Okay, so what's the meaning of trim functionality? For example, if you have certain leading and trading white spaces, that gets removed. In my case, we don't have it, but sometimes like for example, let me just open that. So sometimes it might happen. For example, I might write space Avinash space. Okay. So you have an extra space in the beginning, and then that's what this trim does for you. So basically, with the help of trim, you can remove some spaces which can be there, which can be a nuisance at a later stage. So that can be done over here. That's the functionality of trim. Then we have something called a substring. So directly if you click over here, it will directly apply that formula. I think this formula we already did, so I'm not walking through that. So that's one thing, you can directly click and apply it. And then we have something called a split. So for example, like you see there are some dash and everything. So for example, whatever we have, like for example, I have this opportunity for, after that, certain names are there, right? So if I want to kind of segregate that I can do by this split functionality. We have a lot of options. So here, for example, there are a few delimiters which you have. You can also go for custom delimiter if you want. So like for example, I have this dash, and if I click on dash and if I just go for this new column and keep original, I can simply write opportunity name split one. That is completely fine. And the second will be opportunity. So for example, in this first name which you see, that is Maple Leaf laptops and gadgets dash 40 laptops. So what it will do is, this particular function at in one of the particular column, that is opportunity name split one, it will ensure that Maple Leaf laptops and gadgets are in another one, it will have 40 laptops. So if I just click on apply, okay, you see over here that wherever we had that dash, after that dash it got segregated. So that's the thing. And of course it might have some leading and trailing white spaces, which you can remove that with the help of trim functionality. That's completely fine. Okay, so that's the function of split. Fine. Okay, now other than split, we have something called as uppercase. If you want to completely change that whole name into uppercase, you can directly do that over here. So if I just click on uppercase, okay, I can make uppercase, which is fine. Uppercase transformation name. So let's say I want to do it in a new column, and I want to keep the original as well. So I can write opportunity name uppercase, that is fine. And if I click on apply, you see basically this whole name got converted into uppercase. Fine. That's the thing about this uppercase. And similarly, we have something called as lowercase. It will convert that whole letters into lowercase, whatever name you have. Okay. Then you have something called replace. So if there is any kind of name which you want to replace with some other name, you can also do that thing. So for example, what example can I take from here? Okay. Let me check what example can be taken. Maybe I can do something from account name, maybe. From account name. Okay, fine. Let me do something from opportunity name. So for example, uh, I have something like 20 gadgets, okay? Or 50 devices. Let's say instead of 50 devices, I want to write something. So whatever is under opportunity, I will go for replace, okay? And I will just search for that value. So for example, I have this 50 devices, fine. So I will just go for 50 devices, and maybe instead of 50 devices, what I will write is I want to replace with some other thing. Let's say by 40 laptops. So basically, like whatever, or you can also search for null. For example, you have many opportunities which are null, right? So let me just cancel this. Here you can search for null. Okay. So whatever null is there, we can just, I don't know if you can write something, or I can add a value called none. Okay. So yeah, I can just write. So I will just write none. And what it's going to do is, basically what I've done, basically if there are certain name which is there, and if you want to replace by some other name which is present in that same column, we can go for replace. But in my case, what I've done is, I see that there are many opportunities which are not having any name. So I just found those opportunities with the help of this function. And what I'm doing is I'm just replacing that space, that dash, with none. Okay. So now if I click on apply, so you will see over here that all those opportunities which had blank earlier, that got replaced with a value called none. Okay, so that's something I have done. Fine, I have utilized this function replace, where I have replaced whatever blank earlier. There's something which we do by coalesce function, right? So there's a function called coalesce which we use. We have seen, we have used it. So instead of coalesce, you can also go for replace, and you can search for those blank values and you can replace that by something. Okay, so that's the thing about this one. Other than that, what we have is, okay, let me do something on this opportunity name only. So other than this, you have something called as formatted. So sometimes, there are certain strings which you, like there are dates which is there in form of string, okay, in form of dimension. And if you want to format that, you can go for this one, fine. Then you have something called as bucketing. So for example, if you want to bucket something, for example, the stage which we have, if you want to classify that, right? So we can make the use of bucketing. For example, whatever uh, closed one and closed law, that is closed stages, and whatever else are there, that are open stages. So I can go for bucketing and do that. Okay, so for example, if I click on bucketing here, I can bucket this as, again I can write as closed stages, fine, and then I can bucket the remaining value as something like open stages. Okay, that part we can do, fine. We have something called as smart bucketing, or consolidate text variation into the same category for more accurate prediction. That's fine, we can check that later, but this is a stage bucket which I have done. Okay, so that's the thing about this one. And then let's check what else can be applied. So other than this, 1 minute. Yeah, under this opportunity name, I already walked through edit attributes, and that's it. Drop downs, of course, these are related to some prediction things which we will walk through at a later stage. But yeah, mostly, you understood the whole functionality. Of course, we have this edit attributes where we can change a particular API name or label name to something else, just like the way I've shown you. Like, for example, here it's coming as name, but I'm confused what name is it. So I can directly do it in the form of recipe through the form of edit attributes. And then you have other functions like trim, which helps you to remove the leading and trailing white spaces, the substring, where you can directly apply that formula split based on certain delimiters. You can also go for custom delimiter as well, where you can separate to text, the uppercase, lowercase, replace. We understood, like we have ensured that we replace null value with something. Okay, text to is something we understood, okay, which we can convert to number or date. That is fine. And yeah, that is mostly about this one. And coming to this number now, for example, we have this number. So here also we have the same thing. We have something called as fill. So if there are certain blank values, so what fill does is basically fills in null value in the data with a given replacement. So if there are certain blank values and you want to fill it with zero, it's more like a coalesce. You can do that. So you can actually apply that. Fine. So sometimes there can be certain blank values which are there, right? So in that case, what you can do is you can replace that by zero. For example, you see over here, it's being replaced by zero. Fine. So if I click on cancel, I think that will not appear over here. Let me check. Okay, that is still zero, but yeah, you can still use this functionality. Like sometimes, if you want to replace null values with some given data, you can do that. Okay, you can apply this function zero. That is the thing. That's the thing about fill. And other than that, let's check what else are there for specifically for numeric. So I have the amount over here. And of course, after this is bucketing. Like you can bucket the numeric variation as well. Okay, and that's the thing about this one. And if you come to the date part, again, date, if you want to extract certain things, you can do that. If you want to bucket, you can do that. This extract part we have actually walked through as well, where we understood how we can extract the year, month, and day. So yeah, this is more about this whole thing. About we understood the edit attributes and some extra functions which are there on recipe. So yeah, that's it about this video. And yeah, we will very meet soon in our next video. Thank you.